going to put a real quick recap of the comic book storyline, Tainted Meat specifically, not the entire Hunter storyline, but the meat of the Tainted Meat. Here we go. Immediately following the survivors arguing about something, a herd of zombies attacks our survivors. Dale gets bit, but he hides it from the group. Later on, when everyone is asleep, he walks off, gets knocked out, and taken by the hunters. He wakes up having his legs eaten. Instead of freaking out, he laughs and reveals he went into the woods to die because he was bitten. Dale then yells out, "You guys are eating tainted meat," implying that since he was bitten and they're eating his meat, they would now turn into zombies. Grotesque thought, the hunters now spit out the food and start freaking out. Chris, the leader of the hunters, kicks him in the face, says there's nothing to worry about, and comes up with a plan B, which is to dump Dale's body on the church lawn, that's not good, in order to strike fear in the hearts of the survivors who were sleeping at the church. Rick is in no mood at this point. He is not around. And yes, I censored that because my daughter's in the room. Rick and the survivors then use Father Gabriel because he knows the area to find hunters. Rick confronts the hunters alone. He confirms that they are beyond saving. They are too far gone. They even ate their own kids. Then the survivors butchered the hunters, burned their bodies, and went on with their lives. Tainted Meat. Let's talk. Where we left off from the group escaping and attacking Terminus, they're on the road, and I still believe that they might even be hunting some of the termites or fully aware that a few of them are still out there. They run up on Father Gabriel, and according to the people who saw Seth Gilliam's zombie pictures on Twitter, Michonne was in the one, which leads us to believe that this is our good guys rescuing the priest from these zombies. That's not really that big of a spoiler. We know they run into Father Gabriel. You know what I mean? After they save him, he takes them to the church, which I love. This church looks exactly like the church in the comic book. Here's some pictures. I love this. I mean, it is identical, almost. There's a couple of things that are a little bit different, but so what? Now they cleared the church, and I believe that Rick and a couple of the members go on a supply run looking for food. They might even split off in two groups. If that is the case, I believe they think all the termites are dead and it is safe. I personally don't see any indication. I could be slipping, but I don't see Carl in any of the flooded pictures, so I believe Carl and Rosita possibly stay behind. I think they utilize Father Gabriel, and this is going to be important later. They utilize him because he knows the area. He's very important for them right now. And I'm not a genius. I didn't make that up. He was important in the comic book as well. Now, Rick, Sasha, Michonne, and Bob, Father Gabriel, I don't think anybody else, those five run across a store, and I think this is brilliant. Now, if this doesn't play out this way, alright, whatever, I'm sure they have something good coming, you know, but if you look, it looks like a clothing store on the top floor, and the flooded part, that looks like it's filled with a stock room of canned food and jarred food. I mean, it's a gold mine if you're starving in the apocalypse. And it's genius to have, you know, one or two waterlogged walkers down there, and that's where the food is. Let's take a time out 1 minute and look at Rick's knife. Remember this red knife. That's important for later. Now, what happens is not really important. It's going to be an action scene. The staircase falls in. Obviously, there's going to be one or two walkers down there, and they may think that is it, and then something collapses, and oh shit, here's 10 or 12 more walkers, and shit just got real. So I think that's going to be an action scene, but there's nothing important that happens there, except for Bob gets bit. I refuse to believe that because I don't think they would be so stupid to put him getting bit in the trailer. But if it is to tease us that that's the tainted meat, bravo, because we're running with it. They get the food, they get back to the church, and why do I think it happens in that order? Because they get to the church in daytime, they get to the flooded store in daytime, Rick has the same shirt on in both scenes, and at nighttime in the church when they're calmly discussing where they should go next and Rick is playing with Judith, we see that they're eating food. Sasha is eating a plate of food, and so is Carl. Abraham says we should go to Washington, D.C., and they should join him for the mission. Unknown to our group, Gareth is stalking them. And notice the backpack on Gareth's shoulder, which means he's possibly on the move, or his main camp is the hospital now. I believe Bob walks off because he was bit, like Dale in the comics. The hunters, who are what are left of the termites, club Bob and take him. After Gareth takes Bob back to wherever they're camping out at. And here's something really neat that I thought of a while back. If this is in fact Gareth talking to Bob during the tainted meat scene, this means that Bob is on the ground. His feet were just eaten. He woke up and he's dazed, looking around. Gareth has the power and he's mocking him and he's talking to him about Terminus. And it would kind of make sense if this was the case, because remember Gareth said, you go to Washington and you cure this thing. What if he's mocking him? They could have mixed up those words in editing, and Gareth really says, did you really think you could go to Washington and cure this thing? He's mocking him. And look at the connection there. Bob was the one who told Gareth, don't kill us, don't harm us, we have the cure. All you have to do is just give us a chance. And then here's Gareth, steals Bob after they escaped. Did you really think you cured this thing? I just love that whole dynamic. You know what I mean? It comes right back around. So after that, Bob would then say, dude, I walked off. I'm a dead man anyway. I'm tainted meat. And I fucking hope they do that scene. Obviously, the hunters would freak out, spit out their meat, beat up Bob, and then they throw him on the lawn. I believe there's a connection with Sasha getting the lines Andrea had in the comic. Now, whether or not they are making Sasha the new comic book Andrea, I believe there's a reason why Sasha has the lines that Andrea once spoke. Think about this. Bob did that little kissing maneuver on Sasha, kind of warmed up to her a little bit. Maybe Sasha went looking for him. She can't find him. She goes to the guys. Yo, I can't find Bob. They go out searching. Carol kills a walker. They can't find Bob. Where did he go? And at this point, I believe Daryl and Carol, because Daryl is the tracker, go off to find Bob. Inadvertently, I think they find something about the car with the cross on it, or something happens to lead them kind of astray. Possibly Tyrese grabs Sasha and says, shh, I hear something, I see something, something's not right. I don't believe this is the hunters snatching Sasha up. After looking for Bob and not being able to find him, now they can't find Daryl and Carol because they found something with the hospital. Now Sasha is mad. She had a little thing for Bob, or maybe she cares a little bit about him. They go inside to the church and she approaches Father Gabriel. And this is very similar to the comic book. Andrea's line, she says, you show up and 3 of us are gone. And I believe she's talking about Bob, Daryl, and Carol. They start questioning him, and at this point Sasha loses her shit. Why would Sasha lose her shit? If it's not Tyrese, they could not drag him away, okay? She's pissed, and she says, Father Gabriel, where are our people? And she's screaming it. And I believe that fits, and that is what exactly happens. Father Gabriel just breaks. Much like in the comics, we're going to get a Father Gabriel backstory. Maybe not a flashback, but at least a backstory. Added to that, that's not in the comics, I believe Father Gabriel will spill the beans on Terminus or the hospital. Now I believe Bob cries out in pain, or someone hears or sees something and they go outside. And then at this point, I believe, which I'm really looking forward to, they take a scene that is literally ripped right from the pages of the comic book, where they're dealing with Bob on the ground and Rick senses something out in the woods and he's like, someone's watching us. He fires a shot and he yells for everyone to go. Now at this point they're freaked out. Abe is saying we need to go to Washington and we need to leave now. And Rick says, are you nuts? We're not going anywhere without our people. The people he's talking about are Daryl and Carol, who are tracking down either the hospital people or the hunters. He just got done telling Daryl that he's like a brother to him. Carol helped save his daughter. This might be a grisly ass area for Gareth to have the speech with his group. We should just attack the church. We need to slip in there in the middle of the night. Gareth and his group go to the church to pray. And I'm not talking P-R-A-Y. I'm talking how a hunter preys on his victim, you know? And now I believe Gareth sends a man in to trap Rick. And Rick takes the bait. He has his gun drawn. It's either Carl or Glenn. It might be Glenn behind Rick with their gun out. I believe Rosita and Carl are in the back room or the side room with guns at the door. And then you see Abraham coming up the aisle. And Abe loses it. Kills the termite. Gareth is listening in. He's right about to set the final trap and go after him. Gareth turns the corner, enters the church, points the AK at Rick and group, and Rick does the only thing he can do. He unchambers a bullet, which is giving up. I said this in my other video. Rick surrenders to Gareth. Notice, remember that red knife I told you to look out for? Look at it now. I feel like Rick tries to give Gareth a way out, but there's no hope for him. Gareth is a monster. Rick gave him a way out, Gareth didn't take it, and the real trap has sprung. Daryl, Carol, Sasha, Carl, Rosita, anyone can spring out and they set the trap on Gareth. And Gareth has now been trapped inside the church. And why I think that is so awesome, that cat and mouse thing, is Rick used Terminus's design for trapping people and just reversed it against the same people who have been trapping people for how long? He lured his prey into the church, just like back in season 4 when he was funneling the rabbit, was it? When he caught the rabbit, he was telling Carl, you have to funnel it down, lure him directly into the trap. And it fits because Rick even says, never let your guard down. It only takes 1 second and it's over. And I believe that's happening inside the church. Now the behind the scenes features shows Gareth at the church. And the team seems to be practicing on that gun butt scene that we saw Abraham. However, they show Michonne. They're training Michonne how to do it. So there might be a few different scenes there. Anyway, I believe our survivors brutally kill the hunters. This image could be Tyrese after they brutally murder the hunters. He walks in, you see a little spot of blood on the wall. It's on the freaking wall, man, so it could be gory. And Tyrese could actually be seen borrowing from Father Gabriel, who was literally standing back like, oh my god, what did you guys do? That could be it. Or I believe Tyrese is actually the one who puts Bob down. They say their goodbyes, and look at Sasha's face, she's heartbroken. Maggie now scene borrows Andrea, who was sitting on the bed in the comic. And I think Tyrese has to finish off Bob with a good old butcher knife to the head. I want to see him turn though, that'd be wicked. After this is over, where do you guys think they will go? Comment down below. I'm done talking, it's your turn. If you guys are new and didn't see the other episodes, click on anything here. They are all Walking Dead related. And I'm going to put the next episode right here. That should be up within a couple days. Thank you guys again so much for your support. You can like Make a Path Presents on Facebook and follow Ronnie Hayes on Twitter. Now at this point in my little set of videos, for the most part, I am only using pictures from the trailer and any production videos that AMC have given us. I've only used maybe 2 or 3 pictures from @IssueTweets on Twitter and the Spoiling Dead Fans Facebook group. From this point on, we are going to move into more spoiler territory, which will be a lot of fun, and I have the Spoiling Dead Fans video coming for anyone who knows of them already, and those who don't, you can get introduced to them, and I'm sure you will love it.